Hello, hello, hello. It's Quinn with PTSD while black. Just reflecting and trying to do my hair for tonight, putting it up because I have a lot of hair to put away, or I'll have messy knots in the morning. Um, just reflecting. This week, my husband and I we celebrated our 8th year wedding anniversary, um, which has been a fun adventure. Hey there. Um, and it's just been a it's been a roller coaster of stuff. There's always something happening, always something. I'd like for us to get to the point where we have boring years together. And I think part of it is because I'm so used to surviving chaos and trauma that I know that that's what I attract in, and um, he's so used to being like avoidant of chaos and trauma that he doesn't care that it comes. So it's just kind of like, what the heck? Um, But I recognize our goal is to be a boring old couple, a boring old couple. Even though when I hit 60, I do plan to rob banks as part of my retirement. we've, we've like laughed at this, and that when we're in the senior living facility, he's going to look like an old man, and I'm still going to look like a young hot chick. Yeah, but I won't remember who he is because I'll get dementia really fast. Anyhow, just accepting the reality of life and aging. Um, but we had a good time this week, and we were at dinner and having a discussion of like what was the best year of our marriage, of our married lives together. We've known each other for 12 years. We met in 2010, but we didn't get married until 2014 because I was afraid. I was afraid of getting married. Um, and honestly, I would say the fourth year of our relationship, which was our first year of being married, is in September. Yeah, started in September. That was the hardest year because we were like, okay, we're either going to make it or we're not. He had proposed to me in 2012, and I was still afraid to get married because I had been independent and single for so long. I didn't know how to be with somebody else. And also, I did not want my fears and my harms from surviving rape and trauma to overshadow the relationship, our marriage. And that's where I started going to therapy. I started going to therapy for sure in 2012 because I was like, I love this man enough that I don't want my trauma to get in the way of things. So, 2 years of therapy and going to support groups around under being issues and eating disorders because I also had a history of bulimia. Um, it was like, okay, I'm learning that I need to take care of me, but there was still that false fake wall that was there that said, yes, I'm going to push through everything because that's how I got through my social anxiety disorder is I got on stage and started singing karaoke in front of complete strangers, even though I'm terrified of talking to a person one-on-one kind of thing. Um, so it was really, really interesting to look at this and the patience and the timing that it took for me to feel comfortable, to feel safe with my partner. And it's really sad that the car accident and the concussion were necessary for me to lose my abilities to learn to trust my partner. Um, and also to willingly go to spaces where I could address my PTSD. Because when I started going to therapy in 2012, I didn't know that that was a term for what was going on. I didn't know that PTSD was the term for the reactions that I was having of thinking that my husband was like the rapist, um, thinking that he would hurt me like this man, the man before him, did, and so now I have the wording for that, and it's kind of cool to watch myself healing and letting the trauma go and really getting to where I can enjoy being in partnership with my husband. It's nice. Um, and yeah, I'm also learning this year how to be in partnership with me, with who I am, what are my limits, what are my flaws, what do I need to work on, and being able to address those things and go, hey, babe, this is what I got to offer you. Do you want some? Because then he's able to say, yeah, sure. Or we need to work together to heal this, that, or the other. Or no, thank you. I don't want any, you know? Um, so it's been this really good uh, process of growth. And I love the fact that in order for us to get married, we started going to a couples program where you had to get an older couple to guide you kind of through inventorying your relationship and looking at like how you're reacting from your original family of origin stuff, like what your parents and grandparents did, you're still applying it into this relationship, or the things that went wrong in old relationships, you're applying it into the new relationship. um, and just having another couple hear us, witness us naming that this was the experience. And that was really helpful because that's what made me feel safe enough to get married, was having other couples witness us in our limitations. Um, and to look at the potential of going forward. Oh my God, I have to tell you, when we first started doing that couples thing, they're like, you should go on a date together. And I'm like, I don't want to go on a date with him. I don't like him right now. It was the hardest thing because like we were butting heads. It was year 4. Year 4 is one heck of a year in relationships. It is the year like the lovey doveys have worn off. You are meeting the real person for the first time versus their representative uh, of how they present themselves. So year 4 is really like, oh, I'm really getting to know you. You're really getting to know me. So we were really butting heads. And I was like, okay, I don't want to go into a marriage where I'm always going to be in conflict or I'm always going to have to be the one to fix and control or change things. Um, and what I'm learning through these years is I don't have to fix, control, or change things. If it's not important to my partner and it is important to me and I've addressed my needs or named what I wanted and it doesn't get done, stuff doesn't get done, or I do it myself. This is that kind of thing. How important is it? Has been the best phrase in our marriage. How important is it? So our house is super cluttered right now because brain injury, sorting is not something I can do. I get very confused while trying to sort and organize. So just let it be in clutter. Just know that this we keep, this we throw away. That's the 2 categories that I can do. All right. Um, and the the other thing is like learning to accept what our relationship looks like. It is our relationship. It's no one else's. It's not your mama's, not your granny's, not your great uncle's or your 3-legged cat's relationship. It's our relationship based on us and who we are. And we don't have to answer to anybody else as to what loving looks like here. And it's been the most freeing thing of allowing us to be exactly who we are. We are so goofy. We're total dorks and inappropriate. We make the worst jokes. He's the dad jokes, dude, the dad jokes. But we're just us. And we don't have to fit anyone else's mold. And I hope that any couple out there hearing that right now, I hope you hear this. You do not have to have your relationship look like anyone else's. It does not need to look like something in a fairy tale. It's what you and your partner decide that you two can live with and what makes you happy. And that was like the main thing on our wedding day. I remember my aunt was there and his cousin. They were they were there. The kids were there, and we were trying to get ready to go to the church, and everybody is all in a fluster, and his mom was there. Everybody was all in a fluster and all in a tizzy of you should do this and you should do that and you should do this. And I remember going, excuse me, I'm going to scream now. And I stepped into the kitchen and I just screamed really, really loud. And it terrified them. But I'm like, this is overwhelming. This is too much. I need to let it out. Lance and I are the ones getting married, not you. And we will do exactly what we want to do. And I will tell you what, I didn't have my shoes for the wedding day. I left my shoes sitting on the couch. And so I got walked down the aisle in my slippers. Beautiful wedding dress made by somebody who works used to work at the Disneyland parks. He designed my wedding dress, and I'm walking down the aisle in like these little brown slippers. The dress is long enough so you can't see them. And probably, honestly, it was more comfortable that way because then I could dance. And then we danced to Ren and Stimpy's Happy Happy Joy Joy at our wedding. Okay, our wedding was our wedding, and we made a point of proving to everyone that this gets to be our time and our space, and we don't have to do anything that anyone else does. So that's the thing that we're looking at now is conventionally, what does commitment, what does sex look like in our relationship? What do those needs look like versus, oh, I'm supposed to only do things this way. For me, it was like, oh, I'm not allowed to desire sex because I'm a woman who has survived rape. I'm not allowed to desire sex. And for years, I did have sexual anorexia because I didn't know how I was supposed to be around the subject of sex. And now I'm getting completely liberated around the subject of sex in my marriage. And it's like, oh, I can say, hey, babe, I'm interested in you. Or, which is the thing that's got this whole drama going on right now in the voice acting community, is I was voice acting romantic scenes. And what was cool was as I was filling my cup of what I needed of acting out those romantic scenes, I then had some loving to give to my partner. I had energy to flow over into my partner versus trying to serve from a cup that has not been drenched in some time. um, so yeah, it's like when you do you, baby, you do you. You do you. Your relationship don't gotta look like nobody else's. And so I know there are people who are like, oh, she's fat. How can she possibly have a man? Yeah, guess what, guys? I'm over 400 pounds and I've been married for 8 years. I have a husband and I still have guys trying to holler at me. So there's obviously something going on. And I think the thing is, ladies, nobody told me this when I was single, when I was in my 20s. Just be yourself. Just be yourself. Love the package that you came in. Love exactly who you are, 1313. Love who you are, and it will attract the love to you. I spent so many years hating my body, saying, oh, my butt's too big and my top's too small, and I'm shaped like a pear, or shaped like a horse is actually the way I said it. But honey, that's what they want now. That big old booty, that's what they want. And couldn't recognize it at the time when I was at a healthier weight. I was too busy trying to fit in and with everyone else's stories of what a woman's supposed to be like. And not, hey, what do I have going on? Do I like what I have going on? And the answer is yes. At 400 and I think the last weigh was 429, I think. Yeah, I like what I've got going on. And I will like how it changes and shifts. And I realize that one of the big reasons why I stay fat, I just want to ramble because I'm doing my hair. One of the big reasons why I stay fat is because I know this stuff's going to sag. And I'm used to seeing it being at least somewhat plump, even if it's going, woo, look at that. But okay, let it sag. Let it wobble. Let it jiggle. My husband, I told him that when I first started going to this body image and sexuality class. I was like, I'm really scared of losing weight. My boobs are going to like reach down to the floor and I'm going to have saggy skin. And he's like, hey, those are more places for me to experience loving on. What? Yeah. those are more places for him to practice loving on. I gotta keep her. I gotta keep her. So I'm saying, if you want to replace my husband, baby, you got work to do. If you are insecure and you trying to control a woman, you got to be willing to write contracts and agreements on how we're going to correct our dysfunctional behavior with each other. If you ain't interested in doing that, you can't replace my man. I'm sorry, you can't. um, yeah, you can't. And so it's just been really, really nice just accepting that we are who we are, and as I exercise in the best ways that I can, um, exercise is like this painful loop for me, because the more pain I'm in, the more likely I am to have the seizure like episodes. So I have to be careful and ice my back or my knee after exercising, so that I can experience less pain. Because I've associated trauma, sadly, to working out. Because I had a seizure like episode at physical therapy, because I was hitting it too hard, and my brain was like, "No, girl, mm-mm." And I had to take an Uber home, and I couldn't talk, and trying to tell the Uber guy how to get me to where I needed to go was just messed up. So, um, yeah, yeah. Um, we're finding that delicate balance. But so we are a coupleship, a different race. He's white, I'm black. He's average build. I'm shaped like Grimace, and we're learning to love exactly who we are and where we are and what we got to offer each other. What the world wants from us don't mean shit. What the world thinks of us don't mean a diddly, not a diddly. It's just how we choose to show up with each other. And I think I've been rambling long enough. He's probably wanting to go to bed soon, so I got to go get my snuggles. I listen to his heartbeat before we go to bed every night, and it's just been this like lovely little connection just to be in my partner's arms. And I think I've gone from being a feral cat to being a little bit more domesticated. I think that's the best way to describe me. Is yeah, I'm a feral cat, feral cat wife. Um, but it's nice to come into this space of loving. And so, okay, 8 years of marriage. Looking forward to seeing what the rest of the years will lead to. Um, put it in God's hands and go on. You know. Anyway, I'm done twisting my hair, so I guess it's time to say goodnight. Take care of yourselves. Love yourselves. You are enough. Mwah. Till next time. Peace.